What's happening? Happy 2018 to you guys. I know this is going to be my first week on my business page, Do All Things with Joy. So not sure if you guys know where to find me yet. So I may or may not have too many people on here live with me, but that's okay. I'm still going to share the information with you. So today we are talking about the hot topic of the cell phone debate. Yes. There is a debate out there as to whether or not cell phones are healthy for us or not. Do they cause cancer? All of that. So I want to kind of start off by saying first that the jury's out. Like, we don't know. There's not enough research. We haven't been using cell phones long enough to see like long-term use and smartphones and from where they evolved to where they are now. What we do know is that there are radiomagnetic waves that go out. They're not like the ones that you get from the radiation of going to get an x-ray, but they are in the category of like microwaves and the radar guns that they use as the police officers. So cell phones, you know, they do have a bit of radioactive material for it. So they just know that. Also know that the Swedish researchers found that there is a risk in brain tumors that are on the side of the head of a person, if you're a right-sided holder or left side holder or whatever, where there's an increase sometimes in brain tumors on the side where you held your cell phone the most. The other thing we do know is that it is dose responsive. So that means if you're using your phone all the time, sometimes that's where I am because I'm on business calls and things like that, it can be harmful. Or are you, not using it so often? So it's associated with that. They also know that teens using cell phones have a higher rate of cancer because even like young kids, because their brains have not formed yet. Like, it's for as the skull, it's not as thick. So you want to say, I mean, their brains are formed, but you know what I'm saying? The skull is not as thick. So the penetration of the radiation is greater. So just know that. So then also, and then for the men, know this, that they have linked it to a lower sperm count in the body. So men, cell phone use can reduce the amount of sperm that you got going on. So if you're in those childbearing years, you might want to be careful with that. So it dies 3 times faster, just so you know. So, but what we do know for sure is that it affects the pH balance in your body. So that's pretty interesting as well, because when you have pH balance imbalance, we talked about acidity and alkaline in other videos. And so we want to make sure that we're staying as alkaline as possible. Also can affect your sleep and impair your glucose metabolism. So how you metabolize sugar in the body. So those are all things that can be detrimental long-term, long run, if we're using them on a regular basis. The poor sleep I want to kind of touch on, because I was talking to my husband a little bit about sleeping with the phone near the bed and how that's really not good. Number one, we should try to turn the screens off at least 30 minutes before you're going to sleep. So like powering down and not looking at it anymore, just because of the blue light and how it affects the melatonin in the body to be able to release to help with your circadian rhythms and your sleep patterns. So that's huge. Also, it can have a problem as far as the actual radiation, because it emits from all points on the phone. I mean, these little phones, it's not like one antenna so we can point it the other way. It literally goes in all directions. And some people even sleep with the phone in their bed. So knowing that is 8 or 6 or however many hours of continuous radiation exposure, that's not really great. The other thing is, if you don't have a house like me, unfortunately, that gets great cell reception, it's always searching. So that's the more you do that. That's why they also say riding in a fast car and using your phone is really not good, because from tower to tower, it pushes out more radiation to get there. So those are just things to think about as well. And like not using it as your alarm clock, getting it and putting it in the bathroom away from you or in the kitchen or whatever, and getting an actual alarm clock is going to be better for you as far as that's concerned. So making some distance and putting some distance between you and the phone is really good. I'm going to also include an article in the comments section that will give you just a little bit more detail on this one. But I really do hope that you guys share the joy and let people know what's going on with cell phones, and if you can get a little bit safer with your cell phone just by moving it away from the bed, just an inch or two across the room. You can help yourself in the long run. All right. So just remember, they thought that cigarette smoke or tobacco was not a problem back in the day, and doctors used to smoke in their offices and hospitals and things like that, and now we know that it's not great. So it doesn't mean don't use your phone and go into crazy land. It just means exercise a few precautionary practices, and you should at least be helping yourself in the long run until the jury comes back in with this one. All right, well, peace and blessings. I hope that you guys have a great start to 2018, and remember to share the joy. Peace.